Guruji.
Namaste. Namaste.
Namaskaram Guruji.
Namaste.
Namaskaram Guruji.
Namaskar. Om Namo Venkateshaya. Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Viknopashanteye Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya Vyasa Rupaya Vishnave Namo Vai Brahma Nideye Vasishtaya Namo Namaha Lakshmi Nata Samarambam Nata Yamuna Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Partaya Pradibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvamanusandadami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om Namo Venkatesaya. My pranams everybody. So we completed the chapter 1 where Arjuna completely threw off his arrow and bow and started sitting on the chariot, completely overtaken by grief and sorrow. So now what happens? So let's move on to the chapter 2. Chapter 2 is called as Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya means knowledge, or the thought which results in this, the thought process of this, the logic and the thought process of coming to this knowledge is also called as Sankhya. So this is what this is called. The second chapter is called as Sankhya Yoga. So in Sankhya Yoga, what the summary of what is being contained is, up to the 10 slokas, again, Krishna advises him, but still Arjuna continues to maintain his point of view. Then from the 11th, then completely surrenders to him, and thereafter from 11th sloka onwards, Bhagavan takes over. And from 11th to 46th sloka, Bhagavan talks about the Atma Vidya. So he's talking about Arjuna, what is the nature of Jivatma. Then from then onwards to 60th sloka, he's talking about the Karma Yoga. Brief introduction of Karma Yoga. Chapter 3, of course, is going to talk in detail about Karma Yoga. And then from 60 to 72 60 to 70 is going to talk about the Sthita Prajna and a little bit of Bhakti Yoga. And then 71, 72 is Sannyasa Yoga. Almost chapter 2 is like a glossary of what is Bhagavan is going to talk about in the subsequent chapters. And this is one of the longest chapters, because the longest is chapter 18, which contains 78. This chapter contains 72 slokas. So let's go into chapter sloka number 1 in chapter 2.
Om Sri Krishnaya Paramatmane Namaha Atha Dvitiyodhyayah Sankhya Yogaha Sanjaya Uvacha Tam Tatha Kripaya Vishtam Ashrupurna Kulekshanam Vishidannamidam Vakyam Uvacha Madhusudanaha.
So Sanjaya Uvacha. So Sanjaya is telling Dhritarashtra, what is he saying? Madhusudanaha Uvacha. So the Madhusudana started telling him what. Madhusudana, of course, he is using the word Madhusudana. Madhu is the person who, Sudana means one who kills this asura called Madhusudana. Also, Madhu also means sense enjoyments. When a person who is able to destroy the sense enjoyments and move us towards the path of spiritual liberation is called as Madhusudana. So rightly use this word, because Arjuna is in complete despondency. Bhagavan is going to kill his despondency, and therefore he has used the word Madhusudana. Madhusudana Uvacha. So what? Tam tata kripaya avishta ashrupurna. So one by one, let us see the Arjuna. Tata, tam. So that means that to that Arjuna, tata, that means in this way, that is what is going to say. Kripaya avishta. Kripaya means by compassion. Avishta means he is overwhelmed by compassion towards his kith and kin. Ashrupurna. Ashrupurna. Akula. Ashru means, the tears. Purna, that means filled with tears. Akula means completely filled with tears in his eyes. Ikchanam. Ikchanam means eyes. So his eyes was completely shedding tears. So that is what Arjuna's position was. Vishidantam, that means he was completely lamenting. Vishidantam idam vakyam. So that means he spoke to Arjuna these words. So that means Sanjaya is saying this. They are seeing Arjuna was full of compassion and his mind was depressed and his eyes full of tears. So Madhusudana Krishna. spoke the following words. So what did he say? So let's see, move on to the second sloka.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha Kutastva Kashmalamidam Vishame Samupasthitam Anyarya Jushtamasvargyam Akirtikaram Arjuna.
So Sri Bhagavan Vacha, the blessed Lord said, what did he say? Arjuna, oh Arjuna, Kutaha tva kashmalamidam vishame samupasthitam. He's asking, Kutaha, where did you get, Arjuna? I thought you're such a brave person. You won several battles, even with the same Duryodhana and his people when he was in the Virata Parva. Bhagavan, the Arjuna single-handedly won victory over all these people. So I thought you were such a brave person. Kutaha tva kashmalamidam vishame samupasthitam. Vishame in this, in this point of time, in this hour of this crisis, Kutaha, from where from you, where from did you get this kashmalamidam, all this kind of, this what do you call this, kashmalam means, dirtiness. That means you kind of, these kind of, mean things. How did you get these kind of mean things? Samupasna, how did they reach you? So how did you get this, all this kind of, this kind of feelings that you are getting now? You're such a brave person, you are a manly person, and therefore you are able to have such kind of a courage and mental strength and physical strength, all those things you have got. I'm surprised that where did you get all these kind of things from at this point of time, especially when you are fighting in the battle. In fact, in Tamil, there is the famous Tirukkural, it says, Enni tuniga karmam tunindapin enduvam enbadi irukunu. That means before you start any act, you think 100 times, 1,000 times, etc. There's no problem. But then tunindapin enduvam, that means once you started acting, then don't think about, don't start analyzing the situation. So that means we have all discussed, all these Pandavas have discussed, we have all come to the conclusion there is no other option than to fight this battle out. Everybody knew that you are going, the Arjuna, this Drona, or this Bhishma Pitamar, all these people are going to be on the other side. It's not that something which has come as a new information to you. You know very well that. So we have taken a decision that yes, we have got to fight this battle out, fighting the adharma. So all these things, we have taken that battle, and you also agreed to fight this battle. And suddenly I'm finding it a little surprising. Where did all these things come to your mind? That's what is almost giving like a whip through words. Anarya Jushtam Asvargyam Akirtikara Arjuna. That means all these things, whatever you got today, what are they going to do? Anarya. Arya means a noble person. That means a great brave person. The Arya means brave person. Arya means this the kind of this meek kind of persons. Anaryam Jushtam. That means which is being practiced by all these people are all weak-minded people. Asvargayam. That means Swargyam, which is likely to take us to the Swargyam. Whatever you are saying, that is not going to take you to Swarga at all. That means the Kshatriyas will be eager to fight the battle out for fighting for the Dharma, and if they die in the battle, immediately they will get the Veera Swarga. So people who fight in the battle get Veera Swarga. So that means if you say that I am not going to fight this battle, that means you are completely shutting the doors of Swarga for you. So that means Asvargyam Akirtihi. That means it will be disgraceful. Arjuna, I thought you were a brave person, and if you suddenly come and sit in the battlefield in front of the Kauravas and then say, I'm not going to fight the battle, what kind of image or the kind of fame that will get from all the people? Arjuna is such a brave person, and all these Kauravas will laugh at you, saying that, no, this Arjuna, made so much of boastful talk, saying that I will fight this battle in 1 or 2 days. I don't need even so many days to fight the battle. And suddenly, before even the war starts, you just sit down on this, chariot and say that I'm not going to fight this battle. This is not going. It will be treated as a disgraceful act for you. So that means he's completely whipping him through his words. That's what Krishna says. So Krishna says, the Supreme Blessed Lord says, "Oh dear Arjuna, how has these impurities, all these dirty things come into your mind? They are not befitting of you as a brave person." That is an Arya. Arya is a very brave person. That means you are an Arya. That means you have become a completely weak person. And are befitting of you who knows the values of this life, or who knows the values of fighting as a Kshatriya. All those things you know very well about it. And suddenly, how did these things come to you? They will not lead you into Swargam, or they will bring you disgrace and then infamous. That is what is going to get out of that. And therefore, in the next sloka is going to say that you just get up and then start fighting this battle. So let's move on to the third sloka.
Naidyam masmagamah partha naitatvayupapadyate shudram hridaya daurbalyam tyaktotishta parantapa.
So he's addressing beautiful word parantapa. Parantapa means a scorcher of enemies. So you are such a brave person who you could make the enemies feel so wretched when you fight this battle out. Such kind of a valorous person, parantapa, such a great person. So he's addressing Parantapa. a scorcher of enemies in this battle. And therefore, Klaibyam Masma Gamaha Partha. Partha, son of Prithe, that is my aunt's son. So that means is establishing the relationship. You are so close to me. You are my relative also. So, O Partha, don't yield to this masma gamma. That means don't yield to this Klaibyam. Klaibyam is impotence. He's using a very strong word. He says, this Arjuna, you are such a brave person. How did you get this kind of tears in your eyes? So that means, in the first sloka we saw, we're looking at the tears in his eyes. Bhagavan started talking. You are such a brave person. How did you get tears in your eyes? The man should not get tears at all. So you are such an important person. Are you some impotence has come into you? So just leave out all this unmanliness into you. Then just leave outside all those things. So that means don't yield to all this kind of this kind of thoughts. Partha na yetat tvayi upapadyate. So that means these things should not get into your heart at all. That means you should not, these kind of thoughts should never get into you at all. Tvayi upapadyate. That means it's not befitting of you. So it's not befitting of you to make these kind of statements, feeling compassion, saying that I'm not going to fight this battle. These are all words that are befitting of you as Arjuna, as an Arya person. So you should not get all these things. That's what he's saying. Chudram hridaya daurbalyam. Chudram means petty things, low things. That means hridayam. Hridayam means the hridaya daurbalyam. That means weakness of the heart. Daurbalyam is balam is strength. Daurbalyam is weakness. So you got the weakness of the heart, which is a very petty weaknesses of this heart. Tyaktva, leave aside all those weaknesses. Throw out all those weaknesses. He's just commanding him, throw out all those weaknesses. Uttishta, get up. Oh Parantapa, oh scorcher of enemies, you are such a great person. So how did you get all these petty things in your mind? Throw out all your weaknesses of this heart, and then get up and start fighting for this battle. That's what he's saying. You become some unmanly person, like an important person started crying in the battlefield. Is this befitting of you? So he's just whipping him with these two slokas, expecting Arjuna to immediately wake up. Yes, sorry, Krishna. Then I was given into the compassion. It's not right. So I'll get up and fight this. But Krishna was expecting Arjuna to say that. But unfortunately, the next few slokas, we will see that Arjuna still continues to be in that mode. So till the 10th sloka, we will find that what again Arjuna says that. So let's see the next sloka, 4th sloka.
Arjuna uvacha katham bhishmamaham sankhye dronancha madhusudana ishubhi pratiyotsyami pujarha varisudana.
So again, Arjuna says, having listened to this, these words of these strong words of Krishna, he says, Katham Bhishma Maham Sankhya Dronam Cha Madhusudana. Again, he's using the Madhusudana, a person who killed this Asura called Madhu and Kaitaba, and therefore Arjuna says, oh Madhusudana, who are the killer of all his enemies. So that means he's saying, Katham, how can I? Bhishma Aham Katham, that means how can I kill Bhishma, Sankhya, Dronam in this battlefield? How can I, fight this Bhishma as well as this Drona? Bhishma is my grandfather, and then my Drona is my teacher, Madhusudana. Ishubihi, that means along with this, the bow and the arrows. So how can I, with these arrows, Pratiyotsyami means shall counterattack them. That means I will counterattack my grandfather as well as my, this Guru. Puja Harhau. That means they are fit of worshipping. So my Guru and my great grandfather are fit to be worshipped. They are the people who are to be worshipped. How is it that I can fight against them with the arrows in this battlefield, especially this Bhishma Pitamar as well as Drona? So these people are worthy because Guru is fit to be worshipped. Puja is always to be worshipped. He cannot be fought against, and I can't fight against this. My grandfather who has been protecting me all along, and he has been the source of our strength all this period of time. How can I fight against these two people? Indirectly telling Krishna, will you fight against your grandfather Ugrasena, or will you fight against your Guru Sandipini in the battle? That's what he is trying to say. But again, if you look at the Krishna's story, he fought against even Parameshwara. In the Banasura episode, Parameshwara was on the side of Bana, but because he was not on the right side, Bhagavan fought against even Parameshwara as such. So Bhagavan doesn't have this kind of a feeling, because he is so and so, I can't fight against him. So that's what Arjuna says again to despondency, saying his main point was he cannot fight against his two things, his Guru as well as his grandsire, and therefore that's what he says. Let's continue the discussion tomorrow. Vasudev Vasutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Krishna 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 Krishna.
Thank you, Guruji. Before we go with the ending prayer, let's have